Marketing for Alabama businesses can feel like you're throwing a ton of money into a black hole. You're doing things like Google ads, Facebook ads, radio spots, billboards. But there's one actual marketing strategy that can consistently drive high quality clients and customers across the state to your business and doesn't cost a dime on advertising. And we're talking about local SEO, or search engine optimization. Now stick with me. I'm going to show you how to use local SEO to unlock free leads, especially in Alabama cities like Birmingham, Hoover, Dothan, Mobile, Huntsville, and beyond, right? And then we're going to talk to you about why those leads often convert better than paid advertising like Facebook, Google, billboards, all those things. Then we're going to walk you through exactly how to set this up, even if you struggled with digital marketing before. Now, how do we know this stuff works? Because we've done it with companies like these in Alabama, and you can see the results right here. I'm not going to walk you through it. So let's jump right into the video. So let's talk about why local SEO beats ads in Alabama's markets. First thing we're going to get into is how local search is dominant, right? So 46% of Google searches are for local information. That means they're including local queries or questions into somewhere around your market. And in Alabama, location-specific search behavior is even more pronounced, right, due to spread out nature of the state's economy, right? So think Birmingham, Dothan, Montgomery, and Huntsville, right? So even those big cities have sub-cities within them. Like if you're in Birmingham, you're thinking about Hoover. If you're in Mobile, a lot of times associated with that is things like Dothan and Fairhope. They all have location specifics. You want to make sure that you are showing up in those location-specific searches, not just in Montgomery in general or Huntsville in general, right? Like if I'm in Montgomery, maybe I want to show up for Pike Road. If I'm in Huntsville, maybe I want to show up in Madison. So you want to think about all these things and where you're showing up, and why location-specific is so important, okay? Now, people search when they search with intent, right? So plumber in Auburn, right? I'm searching in that area. Or I need an emergency vet in Hoover, Alabama, right? Hoover's different than Birmingham, two different areas. Or I need a roof replacement in Montgomery, right? These are all intent and they're all location specifics. You want to make sure that when you are showing up online through SEO, through a great website, and on Google as well, that you're showing up for these specific terms. Now, second part of why local SEO beats ads in Alabama's market is because mobile searches drive fast action. All right, so 76 people who search near me visit a business within 24 hours or calls that business within 24 hours when they search from their mobile device. Now, the reason why this is happening is because Alabama's mobile use for cell phones are going to kind of trend or exceeds the national average of what we're seeing. So especially in suburban areas or rural areas, right, where mobile is kind of the default access when it comes to the point of internet. So people get on their phones, they search for what they need, and then they call them because they need something right then and there. And that's all happening on your phone. So if you don't have a website that's optimized for a phone, right, makes it easier for me to navigate here, or instead I have to go there and like pick it up, zoom in, scroll, try to find the number and call. Like it's just easy, click with a thumb, and I can get a hold of that business. Now, the third biggest thing on why local SEO is better for Alabama businesses than Google ads is SEO continues to generate you leads while ads stop when you stop paying. So let's look at the two comparisons here. So Google ads, right? I put money into Google ads, search ads, local service ads, whatever it may be. And right now we're seeing CPC is rising in cost. That's cost per click, right? Meaning those are people who are doing search ads, which means, so like for instance, let's look at a few cost per leads right here. Cost per click. So for roofing contractors, a lot of times just to get somebody to click on your link, not even convert into a lead, it can cost anywhere between $18 and $35. Legal companies or lawyers, things like that, can cost $50 for somebody just to click on the link, not necessarily actually call your business, right? And you don't have control over that part. And then the last one, like HVAC and plumbing, can be anywhere between $15 to $25 for every time they click on your business. So imagine how fast that cost in payments just to be able to get people to just find your business, right? Then after that, you got to go through the website and it's got to be optimized and conversion and all this other stuff, right? So that gets real expensive real fast. Unlike local SEO, okay, where essentially you rank in search results without paying per click. So if they find your business online, and let's say that they click on your business, right? You're not paying for that. It's free. Not paying for it. and you organically show up. And a lot of times people know that if Google's showing somebody at the top, they're a business that can be trusted, okay? And then the Google 3 Pat Mac, you can get there without paying for ads, meaning like, so when you go for searches, the first thing that shows up is the map pack, right? So there's usually 3 businesses and a map on the side that shows where your business is, right? You want to show up there because most likely it's the first thing that shows up. People are going to click on there. They want to click on your business, learn more, and click into a customer, right? And what it does is once you optimize SEO, it basically becomes a 24/7 leads, and you're not having to pay for ads, right? You're not having to come over here and pay for all of this, because what happens when you stop paying for this here, you stop getting leads, right? And it's costing you all this money versus here, because you keep showing up, and as long as the search demand is there, people are searching for your business and your services, you're going to keep getting this right here. Now, why is this so important, and why is it so much better than paid ads? Well, intent-based traffic, meaning intent, people that are searching for your business, that's traffic, people searching, looking for something, is a higher quality lead. They have intent behind why they're searching for something. They need an answer, they need a service, they need something solved, okay? That is why it's a better quality lead. Also, once again, like I mentioned before, when you show up higher in Google, people know that Google is going to find the best businesses. Therefore, they're going to see you as a recognized and trusted business because you showed up higher. Okay. So what happens with intent-based traffic is people find you when they're ready to buy. Majority of the time, right? Maybe they do need a question answered. A lot of times they get that in your content. But if you have good content on your site and you keep showing up and you keep providing great value, even on your social media channels, right? Which, as the time of recording this video, Instagram, and I believe all of Meta is now being indexed into Google. So your social media is even showed up in searches. So you should be hitting that avenue as well. But people find you when they're ready to buy. They've done their research. They're like, hey, I finally trust you. Let me give you a call. That's what intent-based does with organic traffic, right? So if you keep showing up organically and not having to pay for it, like we did way up here, once again, we're not paying for this here. We're just showing up without paying for that, and then we get this right here. More people ready to buy. So it's cheaper to advertise in your market. So here's the kind of things they're actively searching is like, hey, best fence contractor in Birmingham, or roof repair in Dothan, or family dentist accepting new patients in Montgomery, right? And if you have the right website, you have the right marketing message, you have all these pieces into place, you're going to start showing up for when people are searching for these types of terms. Because look, this is what they're searching for, right? I need a contractor because I need a fence built, or I need a roof fixed, or I need a dentist to fix my teeth. And then it's all location-based. Birmingham, Dothan, Montgomery, they're all talking about the location that they're in. So it's not that it's just more affordable, it's better traffic. It's better eyeballs for your business. So let's look at a comparison between the two so you can easily see why local SEO is better than Google Ads for Alabama business owners. So one, let's look at cost comparison. So Google Ads, you got to get a Google Guaranteed badge, which you should do anyway. You got to get reviews, validating, ongoing pay-per-click, all these things you have to do, right, in order to keep leads coming in the door. Now, you should get Google Guaranteed. That's kind of misleading in a way because that does offer a trust badge, but you don't have to keep paying for local service ads when you get the Google Guaranteed badge. But for local SEO, usually it's one time or a small monthly investment, right, with a marketing company to get you there, right? So you're not having to, what happens a lot of times is like when we talk with business owners and contractors, they're like, oh, I want to get more leads or whatever. I need more better quality leads. Like I want to do Google ads. I'm like, well, here's the problem. When we stop paying for those Google ads, then you stop getting customers. So let's do this. Let's do SEO for 12 months and not pay for advertising, right? Let's not pay us to do the work and then pay for the ad spend just to get more people coming in the door, right? Just pay us to do the work. Don't spend any dime on ads, and let's, over the next 12 months, get leads in the door, or more leads in the door and show up more often and more traffic. And what happens is, like, when we do that, then when they're ready to actually blow up, right, they want to do more, then they can just add Google ads to that, right? Because they have the money, because they have more leads and more revenue coming in. Visibility. So Google ads, it's immediate, but you got to pay. That's it. I'm like, boom, I'm there right off the bat, but I got to pay for that. Just the way it is. Local SEO is organic and it's long-term, right? It's going to keep showing up when you don't have to pay for it. Traffic, it's mixed, okay? So you're going to get low quality, high quality leads. And what sucks is when you get those mixed or low intent leads, you got to pay for them, right? If you get a low intent local with organic, which most of the time they're higher intent, you don't feel so bad, right? Because you didn't pay for it. That's all it is. Lifetime value. Once again, Google ads stop working. It stops sending you leads when you stop giving them money. Versus local SEO, it builds over time, so it continues to generate leads over and over and over again. So how do we actually do this for ourselves? Let's make it super simple for you. So the big thing is, and the number one thing you need to do is you need to claim and optimize your Google Business Profile or your GPP. Now, why does this matter in Alabama? Like, why is it so important, right? First, it's your absolutely free marketing tool, right? Your Google Business Profile is free. And most things you can do to optimize this, pretty much all things you do to optimize this, you can do yourself. And it's not really rocket science, especially with things like ChatGPT and AI. It can help you optimize it quicker and match your brand messaging so you can get this done faster and start ranking, right? It shows up. Okay, your Google Business Profile shows up when somebody's actually searching. That's that map pack we're talking about. That's your Google Business Profile, not even your website, right? Now, your website still has to be associated with that, but still, when your Google Business Profile is optimized, you start showing up more, okay? And then the map pack, that 3 map pack, is about 50% of the clicks coming into people's businesses, right? When they're doing search. So half of your search comes in on your Google Business Profile. So it's important that we're showing up there, okay? Now, how do we optimize this? Step 1, go to google.com/business, claim your business, right? Verify it with a postcard or a text message and complete your profile. Now, this has gotten more complicated over the years because SEO guys would create businesses and offices and do all these crazy things to rank websites in local areas and sell them, right? So yes, some marketing companies have ruined this, but either way, to become more trusted anyway, they just go further into verification. So you need more paperwork in order to do it. You need to show your LLC, where your website is online. You got to show where your business office is, and do you even, do you have a sign out front, right? Or whatever you need to show them that, and give them all the paperwork you need to show that you're a business in that area, so you can claim it. It's actually, while yes, it's more steps and it does suck, but it also it's a good thing because it means it's harder for somebody else to duplicate or steal your business, right? Second, you want to fill out everything online. On your profile. No blank fields on anything. So 1, your business name. You want to make sure that your business name is the same thing on your website. You don't want it to say Presto Fence Company LLC on your profile, and then on your website it says Presto Fences, right? Those are 2 different business names. You got to make sure your profile can say Presto Fences, but then your website needs to say Presto Fences, right? So make sure that those are the same. Your categories you choose a primary, okay? And then relevant secondary ones. I think you get 3 now. So if I'm a fence contractor, make sure I choose fence. If I'm a veterinarian clinic, make sure I'm choosing veterinary clinic. Make sure that the primary thing you do is what your primary service is. So a lot of times what happens here is, like, let's say, this happens a lot with HVAC companies. A lot of HVAC companies also have plumbing, electrical. And sometimes they've been found to put plumbing or electrical as their primary category because maybe they want more leads for that part of their business. But that's actually hurting your business overall. You need one primary category and then subcategories. If you want more leads in plumbing or electrical, then you need a new business address, a new Google Business Profile, and make that the primary category to get there, right? So we've done this for like a roofing company in Southern Alabama, where their category was like contractor, like general contractor, because like, oh, we want all this business. I'm like, nope, that's not how it works. So we fixed it to roofing contractor, and obviously when we did that, plus subsequent things, they landed more deals, right? They had 10 to 20 more inbound calls a month, all because we just fixed the Google Business Profile category. Okay. Next part is your phone number, website, hours, and service areas. So make sure that all of these are accurate. Your phone number needs to be structured exactly the same. So if you use parentheses around the area code, make sure you do that everywhere. Your Google Business Profile, do it on your website. It needs to be the exact same format. Google needs to read it that way. It's weird, but just do it. Make sure that your hours of operation are the same thing on Google Business Profile. If your Google Business Profile says we're 24/7, because maybe you do emergency service, then your website needs to say you're 24/7, and you can call anytime. They need to match up perfectly, okay? And even how you put the hours on your website need to match your Google Business Profile. And I know you think I'm crazy, but Google sees that. They need to read that all that stuff's the same. And then service areas. So like I'm going to, so if let's say I'm in Birmingham, make sure I'm putting Birmingham, Hoover, Pelham, Trustfield, whatever, right? Or if I'm in Dothan, all the subsequent areas around here, or Tuscaloosa, make sure I'm putting things like Northport, things like that, or Montgomery, or I'll talk about Pike Road and all those other places, or Huntsville, Madison, right? Make sure any area that you service, that's being put into your service area. Next thing you want to do is you want to post weekly. Okay, what this does is doesn't necessarily affect your ranking so much. It just gives signals to Google that you're active, right? So you want to treat your Google Business Profile kind of like it's a mini social media feed. All right, that's important. So you want to add any new project photos, any before after shots, like if you're a contractor, or maybe happy customers if you have a local business like a vet office, or maybe you got customers that use Invisalign if you're a dentist, right? And show their before and after photos, ones that obviously are happy with that, or show off your people that work in your business, things like that. Any promotional and service updates, and of course continue to drive some educational content in there. A lot of times, what a lot of people do and what we've done in the past is a lot of stuff we put on social media, we've also put it on Google Business Profile, right? So we continue to stay active and show signals to Google that like, hey, we're a business, we're operating, we're continuing to provide value, okay? And then you want to upload high quality photos, okay? Google favors profiles that are photo rich, that have photos, especially real photos, not doctored up graphic designs, but real actual photos. And the best part is like nowadays with your cell phone, most people take photos with their phone. They're geotagged. They're geotagged to your location. So if you're doing projects in, let's say you're a contractor, you're doing a project in, Pelham, Alabama. All right. You're going to put in the description, hey, put on a new deck for this homeowner in Pelham, right? So the photo is geotagged for that area, and also in the description, it shows the location. So that's huge. What we found research-wise, businesses with 100 plus photos get up to 520% more calls than the average listing. It's social proof, right? That's social proof. Same thing with social media. The more you have on social media that's social proof, the more people are going to trust your business. All right. Collect and respond reviews. This is one of the most important things for ranking, okay? If you want to rank without a marketing company, this is one of the most important things you need to do. And you can do this. Marketing companies can't get the review for you most of the time. We can give you strategies and do things like follow-up text and stuff, but at the end of the day, you got to go get the review. We call this review velocity, okay? And this is how fast you collect reviews directly impacts your ranking. So yes, it's important to get 5-star reviews, but you don't want to get like 1 this month and maybe 7 the next month, then none the next month, and then 15 the next month. They want to see you consistently getting reviews all the time. That means that in your processes, in your customer journey, you're providing such great value and such a great experience that people are wanting to talk positive about your business over and over again, okay? We had a tree service company in Southern Alabama that we did this for, right? They only had 7 reviews, so we had to send out campaigns to get more reviews in. So then we got 50 in within a few weeks, so it helped them show the more relevance as far as showing up in searches. And then we put in a follow-up text and email to go with also on site, gave them a QR code text link to where they could get more reviews after they finish the job. So it did a couple things for them. One, it made them obviously have to do a better job, right? And make sure that they show up for their customers and provide a great service so they are confident in asking for that review when they got done. And then that, of course, helped them show up in rankings when people are searching, all right? According to Google and research, right, direct from the Google's data, businesses with frequent 4.8 to 5 stars dominate local results, right? So don't be afraid of the 4s, right? Don't be afraid of 4.8. People know that if you have 5 stars across the board, sometimes you can be skeptical of what's going on. But having a 4.8 to 5 is where you want to be. That's the sweet spot. Last part is always reply to reviews, good or bad. Meaning, even if you have a bad review, or maybe even it's a review of an unhappy customer, somebody wasn't even a customer at all, that happens all the time. Make sure you respond. And make sure you respond with specific, like if you have a good review, respond specifically to that person, the project, or what you did for them, and the transformation, and how, and why why you're happy that they gave you the review, right? So make sure you're doing that for all of your reviews. All right, and finally, why this works. Okay, why does this stuff work? Okay, what we call SEO signals. So Google uses GPP signals to determine these primary three things. And we've got other videos about this that talks about this stuff. We have a local SEO video that dives deeper into this. But 1, relevance, meaning categories and keywords. 2, proximity, where your business is in proximity to where they're searching. And 3, prominence. Prominence is your reviews, your trust badge, so to speak, your activities, your photos. All 3 of these things determine whether you're going to show up or not. Because when you have these 3 things in place, that means you're doing great work and you're a great business. So Google wants people to have a great experience. They keep coming back to Google to look for things that they need. That's it. So really, it's almost like Google's in it for themselves. So it's to your best interest to obviously do these things. Now, a well-optimized GPP can rank above national chains and even big box competitors because of the location-specific option, right? So you can get above, like if you're, and I know we work a lot with contractors, right? So we reference them a lot, but like, let's say you want to get above a Home Depot or a Lowe's, you can do that with this, right? You can outrank them because of these location-specific stuff. So let's look at it side by side real quick. Here's why you need to optimize your Google Business Profile. So visibility is the first thing. When you have a weak one, all right, you're going to be buried in the maps. You're not going to be listed at all. So you don't even have a shot at that customer. So maybe if somebody has a bad business down the road, they don't do as good as work as you do, but they got the job. Why? Because they showed up, because they spent the time on being visible. But if you do have it optimized, you can show on that top 3 that gets that 50% of clicks to get more traffic, more people to your business. Clicks and calls. If it's weak, obviously it's going to be minimal. If not, right, people that have it optimized, they're always getting organic calls through Google Business Profile, period. Trust, obviously, if you have a few reviews or you have reviews that are 2 years old, people they're not going to trust your business, right? They need to see you're constantly getting reviews updated, all right? And if you're high, right, you're active, you're updating reviews, you're going to get more traffic, easy enough. And then cost, weak GPP is free, meaning you're not going to get customers, right? And then builds over time, still free. It's just time and strategy, right? So you're going to get more customers here, and this is just going to be free, but you ain't going to get nothing out of it. Now, we talked about optimizing your Google Business Profile, which is just one part of local SEO. The next part that you got to do, and you can do this stuff yourself, is getting local keyword-focused website content, okay, on your actual website, because this shows that it's your digital presence, your digital storefront. It shows you're the authority. It shows Google that like you are the person, right? You are the thing. It even shows AI these things, right? And you need this with AI. So let's look into it here. Why does it matter for businesses in Alabama, right? Some people think, oh, we don't need to be the authority. People know us, right? But at the end of the day, now, if you want to show up on Google, you have to show them why you're a local authority. So Google needs location signals. All right, they need to understand where you work, where you operate, not just what you actually do. Okay, if your site just says we do roofing or we're a roof company with no local terms, you're never going to rank for things like roofing in Hoover or emergency roof repair in Dothan, because your website doesn't say where you actually operate. It needs to actually say that. It's not a given. Okay, and then your local content tells Google, hey, we're the go-to company for this city and that service. It has got to spell that out. The words, the content, what you're providing to people has to say that on the website, okay? So what to do for your local SEO strategy? Let's get into this. So first thing you want to do, and this is going to be a 3-part deal here. We're going to dive into this 3 section here, is you need to create service and location pages. All right, so your core service pages need to be tied to a specific city or a zip code, right? We need to know that you operate in Pelham, Alabama, or in Tuscaloosa, or Mobile, or Daphne, or Fairhope, or Spanish Fork, whatever. We need to know you operate in those cities based on the service that you provide, okay? So let's give you some examples. We do fence repair in Hoover, Alabama with the zip code, or emergency roof repair in Dothan, or pet euthanasia in Vestavia Hills, Alabama, right? This is the service. This is the city it's tied into. Your website needs to show these things, okay? Next part, use SEO-friendly keywords. Now, the mistake in the past that people have made is a keyword, what we call keyword stuffing. They try to throw as many keywords as possible to show that to rank for that keyword, but it's not helpful to the end user. Therefore, you have to use them strategically or as SEO friendly. So the primary thing you need to have on your service pages is this: your service in this city plus Alabama. So examples: composite deck builder in Mountain Brook, Alabama. So let's say you build composite decks. On that composite deck page, you need to say that we do this type of service, right, in this city, as what we call your H1 tag on that page, right? The primary header on there. If you got a web developer, they know how to do all that stuff. Second, 24/7 HVAC services in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. What we do, here's the city, Alabama. Concrete fence installer in Trussville, Alabama. Okay, these are all examples of that. So what you want to do with these keywords, right? These keywords we're talking about here is we want to, that are relative to your service, is we want to put them in the page titles, in the H1 headers. And I know for some of you, you're probably not going to understand what this is, but if you can speak intelligently and ask your marketing company about these things, they're going to know you mean business. But page titles are going to be like the top of the page. They're going to, the primary header on that actual page. They're also going to be in the little banner. On the tab when people search. H1 headers is going to be, you have to label it as an H1, and that tells the website and Google that this is the primary thing this page is about. In your image, alternate text. So on the back end, when you put an image on your website, it needs to describe with those keywords what it is. So like if I put a composite deck on a house, or a composite deck we built in, let's say we built a composite deck in Mountain Brook, okay? On that image, there in the back end, there's an option where it says image alternate text. So what you want to put in there is like composite deck built in Mountain Brook, Alabama, right? That's optimizing. First paragraph copy, his needs to talk about your primary service here, right? And then your page meta description. Now, what page meta description is when I find your business in search, or I hover my mouse pointer or whatever on the tab on top of Google or on top of your web browser. It'll have a title there, so that title tells you what it is, and then it'll also have it'll pop up and show you a little bit more information about that web page. You want to show up there with the right keywords as well. Now, the third thing, hugely important to show your local authority, is you want to mention things like suburbs and local lingo. So let's give you some examples here. We're going to talk about, so like if I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, we can use things like the Magic City because we know that's a local lingo, so it shows us your authority in that area. Or if I'm in Dothan, we're in the Wiregrass area, right? So we want to use those local nicknames. Also include local neighborhoods. So once again, we're going to talk about, we're talking about Alabama, and most people in Alabama know these cities. So if I'm in Birmingham, we want to talk about Hoover or Pelham, that's where I live, 5 Points South, Eastlake, Vestavia Hills, Homewood, Auburn Opelika, Spanish Fort, which is around the Mobile area. Like, we want to make sure we include these local areas, okay? And then same thing with area codes, zip codes, and landmarks. So saying things like, we serve these zip codes here, or we're just down the road from UAB. That's local lingo, and that shows local authority. And then add case studies and testimonials by location. So this is where we're talking about, like, we help this homeowner with put in a brand new roof in, I don't know, let's say Northport, Alabama, all right, or in Demopolis, Alabama. It shows that you have somebody in that area that you've helped, and then they provided the testimonial back. It's like, oh, whether it's be on a review or social media, we use this company here. They were fantastic. We're down in Demopolis, Alabama. They put a new roof on because ours was leaking. It was in a, whatever. You get it. You get the point, right? So make sure that when you do add case studies on your website, get the testimonials to talk about the location they're in. So once again, let's talk about why local keyword content works. So your page title, weak content just says what you do. Great content says emergency roof repair in Dothan, Alabama. Probably don't need to put the zip code, but you get the picture. Keyword usage. If you use generic terms, nobody cares. But if you say fence installer in Hoover, I know what you do and where you do it. Local lingo. Let's say you don't have any. You just have generic words that we do this thing. But we say service the Magic City and surrounding areas. People know that, hey, Magic City, yeah, you're in Alabama, you're in Birmingham. We got it. Zip codes, suburbs. You don't talk about this. Let's say, we install fences in Birmingham. Great. In downtown Birmingham or anything around Birmingham, right? You want to make sure that you're showing up in all those areas. So like, hey, we serve these zip codes or these cities here. Make it relevant to those areas. And then once again, case studies, if you don't have any or don't talk about any local reviews, you want to say things like, hey, client in Eastlake saved $8,200 by going with our company. That's a case study, and that's local to their area. The only other thing I didn't talk about that when it comes to local content on your website, and a lot of people will think, I need blog posts to show up or rank, right? And that's a big thing here. And I didn't include it on here, but I'll go over it briefly because it can go really deep into local SEO. But there's two different type of blog posts or content you want to add to your site consistently. One is industry authority, meaning you're an authority in your industry and whatever service you offer. So if you're a vet clinic, you're talking about vet things, or a contractor, you're talking about contracting things, or if you're a lawyer, you're talking about lawyer things. Like, that's important on your site. The other thing that's important that nobody talks about when it comes to SEO is you need to put local authority content. So primary example is like, I'm in Pelham, Alabama. There's a big state park in Pelham, Alabama called Oak Mountain State Park. Well, I'm going to put content about Oak Mountain State Park because what that's going to do, it has nothing to do with my business other than the area I serve. And what Google wants to see is that you're also a local authority in things in your area. So I'm going to put a thing about Oak Mountain State Park because it's in Pelham, or I'll put a thing about new development happening from the old Pelham Amphitheater, right? That is showing local authority in your market. Now, something people don't talk about, something I want to add in because I think it's hugely important. Now you've seen the blueprint on how local SEO can help your Alabama business generate high quality clients and customers without having to pay for ads all across Alabama. The next video will be up on the screen here. It'll kind of give you a step-by-step playbook on how we can implement that from start to finish. So click on that screen, click that video, dive into that, and start ranking and getting organic customers to your Alabama business.